Wouldn't it be great to look Mattel in the eye and ask them whatever you wanted to? Unload your most burning questions relating to the Disney Cars diecast line and receive in return real answers. Well, that's exactly what we're going to be doing here today. I have 9 questions and answers, and I couldn't be more excited to share them with you, especially the answers. Now, 5 of them were asked by other people in the community. The other 4, though, I asked, and they were all answered directly by somebody who represents Mattel. Now, I can't go into details about how I procured this and all that stuff, but they are all legitimate. And man, guys, you're going to want to hear what we have to share today. So without any more rambling, let's get right into it. Again, we're going to start with the 5 that I did not ask. Other people in the community thought that these were important, and I agree that they are pretty solid questions, although I think mine are better. But let's start with them anyways. Question number 1, why new releases are only 1 or 2 per case? So this person's referring to, like, let's take Doug Krankle, for example. He was only so far in case D for 2023, and there's only 1 in that case. Now, him in particular is a bigger blister, maybe can only fit 1, but what about cars like, I don't know, going back to Revo Cost, Dats Jammin', Greebles, Griswold, there was only like 1 or 2 per case. Here's the answer to that. There are a lot of factors that go into our mix management decision. Ultimately, it is a marketing decision. So a pretty scant answer here, but that's absolutely true. Everything they do is probably very strategic, but I can't really expand much more on this because there isn't much sustenance to this answer. However, as we get deeper into the questions here, the person who is responding gets a lot more detail, which I really am excited about, and I really appreciate that. So question number 2. Now this one I could have answered on my own, but we'll go through with it. How come the price keeps rising for cars? Now $4.99 at some places, while Hot Wheels and Matchbox have not changed. Now, I'm not entirely sure what this person means because I have seen Hot Wheels increase their price, but yes, Walmart in the United States, $3.72 for a Disney car, but at Target it's $4.99. At Meijer it's $4.49. So not great, but why is this happening? Now, I would have said inflation, rising costs, supply chain disruptions, all of the stuff that is completely external to really the Disney Cars diecast line. But here's what the Mattel representative had to say. Prices are dictated at the retailer's discretion and not by Mattel. We give a suggested retail price, SRP, but ultimately each individual retailer chooses the price they want to set for their stores. Again, yep, absolutely, 100%. I think this is the weakest question that was asked, but again, this is very representative of what a lot of people in the community right now, at least I think, are thinking. I go to a store, I'm paying, almost $1.50 more than I am at another store. I want to know why. And that's really bothering a lot of people because over the last 12 months, I would say Target has had a better selection than Walmart. And that's also almost factual in the sense that Walmart's been getting in these 12 count cases instead of the usual 24 full count cases. But moving on to question number 3, is the line scaling back now? No new haulers, no new deluxe. This person's basically asking, what's going on, man? Why aren't we seeing what we have been seeing in the past in terms of some of these auxiliary lines? Now, here's your answer. We do have a hauler assortment at Walmart that should have some newness this year. The Deluxe line will be discontinued this year, so we already knew that there were not going to be any Deluxes for 2023. GetMeCollecitlbes broke that in November, so we already knew that. But the hauler thing is quite interesting because so far, 2023 haulers, we got the Cars 2 Mac, and I think they reissued Jackson Storm's hauler, and obviously the next gen Walmart hauler as well, Marty hauler. Is that technically called newness? I'm not sure. I would say no. I mean, the Cars 2 Mac has not been released in over 10 years, but I mean, that's not new. Maybe you can kind of fit that into the definition of newness. Either way, though, I really do hope what this person is answering here in terms of, newness actually means we're getting a new hauler. Now, again, not going to put words in this person's mouth. I'm just interpreting that, and I'm trying to be optimistic. So I will go out on a limb and say that, yeah, we will get a new hauler of some sort this year, whether it's, a next-gen hauler or whether it's just, a stock car hauler. I'm optimistic that we get something along those lines. All right, question number 4. What is the process to select what is made each year? Series, release times, new castings. So basically they're asking, why do you do what you do? Like, why do you choose to release, again, I'm bagging on Doug Crankle. Why do you choose to release Doug Crankle instead of somebody else? Here's your answer. It is a very long and complicated process that includes conversations with retailers, our sales team, Mattel leadership, Disney, Pixar, and of course, our talented design team. What I can tell you is that the majority of our 2024 line has already been decided, barring any unforeseen issues. That's definitely the most interesting part of the answer here, the fact that they've already planned throughout 2024, because what that tells me is that they feel very confident in their Disney Cars line. They are not letting it go anytime soon. One of the people who asked, that question a couple ago, is the line scaling back now? Yeah, I mean, that shows some pessimism, but Mattel is not reflecting that in any way, shape, or form. They are going full bore, steam ahead, creating this line. And the fact that they are already, past 2024 in their creative mindsets is really exciting to me. I'm very happy to hear that because, again, like I said, it shows that they really believe in this line and they intend on continuing it for the foreseeable future here. Now, the first part of the question, I don't quite buy it, let's be honest, especially the retailers part. I don't think they're going to Target or Walmart and saying, hey, do you guys think we should do, what do you think? Gearston Marshall, Doug Crankle, should we uncancel Benny Caliper this year? What do you guys think? I don't think they're doing that at all, but obviously they are going to Mattel, leadership, their design team, undoubtedly. And Disney and Pixar is a huge one there because Disney and Pixar supply them with the art. And, it's very telling when you see some of these pieces of artwork that Disney and Pixar have created elsewhere. You can almost kind of anticipate that there's bound to be a diecast of that soon because Mattel gets that art and then they're like, hey, well, let's make this. We have the information from Mattel, on that Cars on the Road map, which I did a video about, several months ago now. There is Doug Crankle's artwork on that poster. So we saw that many, many months. I think it was 2 or 3 months before Doug Crankle was actually announced. So that's just one example. And, on there, you could also see Chiefess. So I would anticipate we're getting a Chiefess diecast. We know we're getting a Chiefess mini racer. So yeah, obviously they all kind of collaborate, and that's what he's trying to say here. All right, this is the last question now from the other people, and then we get to Mr. Dockett's own questions, my own questions. All right, it would be great to have a collector's choice vehicle once a year. So I guess this is more of a suggestion, not necessarily a question. And the Mattel representative responds, that's an interesting idea that I will float by the team. So yeah, obviously this person's trying to be very diplomatic about it all. Who knows if they, will do that or if they believe it's a good idea or not. I'm a little bit, I don't know, the jury's out for me on this one. I think it would be difficult to come to a consensus on a collector's choice vehicle. But what I think about when I hear this is like when Minecraft, and I know a lot of you guys might not be familiar with this example, but Minecraft is a game. And, every once in a while, especially over the last 3-4 years now, they'll come to the community and do a poll about what character, they call them mobs, to implement into the game. And they'll give several, 3 choices, and everyone gets to vote, right? And then whichever one gets the most votes gets implemented into the game, and the other 2 get stashed for maybe later or maybe not. So is that something that Mattel could feasibly do? They get, on social media and make a poll, hey, do you want Benny Caliper? Do you want, I don't know, Trev the Train? Or do you want Sid Vanderkamper? And everyone votes, and whichever one wins the vote actually gets made by Mattel? I'm going to go with no, because I think they'd have to come up with options that they are entirely comfortable with. And I'm not saying, they would not do that. They absolutely would do that. They would come up with several options that they are 100% confident and comfortable in. And so whichever one gets picked, they're completely cool with it. And I feel that the other ones they would end up making, down the road as well, assuming that they had already put some development into them. So do I see this happening? I don't, because Mattel has a very limited social media presence right now in terms of the Disney Cars line. And also the Disney Cars Mattel line has zero internet presence right now. There used to be a whole website dedicated to them where you could go and click on each series. You could see the poster. You could download the poster. That's gone. That's no longer there. That died in 2017 before Cars 3 came out, which is unfortunate. That's just the reality. So Disney Cars Online right now is just, it's kind of stuck in the 2000s right now. They don't have the internet presence that they should, that even Hot Wheels has, and many other prominent brands like that. So I don't think this is feasible, but it's a cool idea. All right, so those are your 5 questions from the community. These next 4 I asked, and then someone got them answered by the Mattel representative for me. Again, I know I'm being vague, but I have to be vague, guys. We got to keep this secure and all that stuff. So here we go. Question number 6. Now, I added a lot to my questions. I wanted to be thorough with it all. And this is the biggest one, the biggest tidbit of news out of this entire Q&A. So ears better be perking up right now. I say, I know the biggest question that folks are asking is about the Deluxe line. Now, like I said, we already got this canceled news and it was reiterated a couple minutes ago, but I'm just talking about it here in the question. So anyways, yeah, I know the biggest question that folks are asking is about the Deluxe line. GetMeCollecitlbes announced that there won't be a Deluxe line for 2023. So how does Mattel intend to release oversized characters like Ivy from Cars on the Road? Will they be sneaking them into multi-packs like they did with the Circus Stunt Biplane or Peggy Liner, or not releasing any at all? Ivy is such a prominent character that it'd be silly not to do a diecast release, in my opinion. So yeah, that is all my words. That's exactly what I said. And again, to reiterate that, the only way they've been doing deluxes lately is by kind of shoehorning them into other things, whether it be a playset, which is how we got the plastic Ivy, Super Speeder Mater, that's how we got that, again, plastic though. Peggy Liner, although not typically seen as a deluxe, it won't fit in a single pack, so I included it here. That's a 9-pack that's available on Walmart.com. And then, of course, the Circus Stunt Biplane that was available in that Target 4-pack in the beginning of the Cars on the Road diecast siege, okay? Here's the answer, and it's a good one. That's correct. The Deluxe line will be discontinued this year. So our oversized characters will mostly be available in multi-packs or as exclusive offerings moving forward. As you mentioned, Ivy is a prominent character, and you should be able to find her in diecast this spring. Wow. Okay, this is a phenomenal answer because it not only confirms that Ivy's coming out as a diecast and tells us when this spring, which is phenomenal news, but it also confirms we're going to get some sort of exclusive offerings moving forward. Now, does that mean, your Walmart exclusive 9-pack with Peggy Liner? Is that what they mean here? Or does exclusive offering mean something more like you could go to Mattel's website and get the Bigfoot Hunter Camper, the RV, Clutch Homeboat, okay? You go on there and you could buy him, and he comes in a special box packaging, kind of like Barry Diesel, from over 10 years ago now. Is it going to be something like that? So obviously, again, this person's being very diplomatic about it all, very politically correct, not trying to say anything that's going to get him into trouble, not saying anything that might not come to fruition. So this exclusive offerings part can be interpreted in many ways. But what I take from this is that hopefully we'll get more in multi-packs. Hopefully we get some sort of special exclusive offerings that's more than just, again, multi-packs, which is what the person already said anyways. And then we are getting Ivy as a diecast, and I am so excited. I never thought I'd be so excited for like a main character though, because usually I get hyped for the characters that, you know, are a little more obscure, that Mattel takes a little while to release. But with Ivy, you know, they've taken a while to release her, and I just can't wait to see how, you know, this monster truck Ivy looks, you know, as a diecast. You know, we've seen the mini racer version, we've seen the McDonald's version, but man, come on. I want a diecast one, 155 scale. So yeah, there you guys go. Don't tune out yet though. I know you got your Ivy confirmation, but there's some more good stuff here to unpack. All right, my second question, but the seventh question of the video. I say, on a smaller scale, why is Doug Crankle, the zombie car, the complete wrong color? His art shows him as being green, but he is gray. Pretty simple. Why is Doug Crankle inaccurate? Right now, before I received the answer back to this, I kind of figured it out. You know, I was talking with a couple of friends of mine. You know, you look at the color changers artwork for him, it's gray. Instead of accusing Mattel and saying they photoshopped it to cover their mistake, no. Probably what happened is Disney and Pixar originally had that art, sent it to Mattel. They started work on the color changer and the diecast. And then, you know, a couple months later, they send them the green artwork, and Mattel's like, well, shoot, we already started. We already been making this guy in gray now, so we're just going to roll with it. And what I don't know, this was a tough position. You know, Disney and Pixar kind of put Mattel in a tough position, if what we're saying is correct here. You know, because what do? Do you use the wrong artwork, or do you try and stop production and halt like a 90-mile-an-hour train, basically, and redo it? I don't know. You know, that's a tough one. And so I think we need to give Mattel a little bit more of a break when it comes to Doug Crankle here, who has been, you know, a zit for Mattel. I mean, it's been a target on Mattel's back for the fandom and the community over the last couple months here. I mean, that, you know, you ask a collector, what's ticked you off the most? They're liable to say Doug Crankle. You know, such a highly anticipated release, very cool, could have been done perfectly, but not. Anyways, though, that's just my take on it. Here's what the Mattel rep actually said, though. That's an interesting topic. If you look really closely, you might see a few characters that look slightly different on package than what they did in content or on a product. I can't speak for Disney or Pixar, but the graphics that are on package are delivered directly from the studio. Due to production timeline we need, sometimes the product or package graphics don't match exactly to content. Sometimes we end up doing a running change and updating future releases, sometimes not, depends on the situation, circumstance. Yeah, you know, this is kind of took the words out of my mouth. This is exactly what I thought. Although when he says, if you look really closely, yeah, you don't have to look that closely to see that Doug's the wrong color. You know, you don't have to look that closely to see that they put the wrong name of a car on this package. You don't have to look that closely to see that they got Jimmy Lugwrench's grill and headlights all wrong, you know? So he's obviously trying to cover himself up, or cover Mattel up a little bit there. But yeah, some of the mistakes are a little bit more glaring than others, but it totally makes sense. You know, they receive this stuff directly from Mattel, you know, or directly from Disney and Pixar. Again, as we've talked about for a long time now, Mattel does not name the cars. Mattel does not make the graphics that go, or the artwork rather, you know, they don't put that stuff. They receive it and they copy and paste it, drag it over to the packaging template. So yeah, again, we need to give Mattel a little bit more of a break on this one. And I apologize. I'm actually doing a short on this very topic in the near future where I go into a little bit more detail in 60 seconds on it. Question number 8. Will there be any extended universe lines this year, like NASCAR or XRS? Now, I asked this question knowing that, well, we haven't gotten an XRS line since like 2020. NASCAR was discontinued at Walmart, so seemingly canceled. So I asked this, you know, I gave those as examples. I didn't expect them to, you know, make a new XRS line or anything like that. But here's your answer. There will be a new feature line releasing this fall that we are all very excited about. So, hey, that's good news, right? We're getting some sort of new feature line this fall. Whether it truly is expanded universe or not remains to be seen. I know he answered it, to the expanded universe question, but it might not be expanded universe. It might be something else, but typically these, sidelines are expanded universe, Thomasville tributes, you have your Fireball Beach, XRS Mud, Drag, Rocket Racer, whatever it may be. So I'm really excited about what they come up with. And yeah, I couldn't even speculate, couldn't even tell you what this could be. Who knows? But I would probably reckon it has something to do with cars on the road. Maybe not. And then the final question is specific to NASCAR. I say, why was the NASCAR line seemingly discontinued without releasing the coveted next-gen Taco Mint Racer? I assume it had something to do with Walmart. Now, what I mean here is Walmart was like, hey, Mattel, these are selling like dog water. Stop making them. We're not going to buy them anymore. So Mattel was like, oh, pump the brakes on that. Oh, man, we still got some left over. Don't worry about selling some of the like Dollarama in Canada. Send them to TJ Maxx in the United States. Yeah, just get rid of them. Just send them to those discount stores. That's basically what happened, So I'm asking, I'm kind of like poking the bear. I'm trying to get a good answer, even though I kind of know why it was discontinued, even though I thought it did sell well. I thought it sold quite well at Walmart. I always struggled to find some of them. I never found Rowdy Revenbush at Walmart. And in fact, I've never found him even at TJ Maxx either. So, and I have seen NASCAR racers at TJ Maxx before. So yeah, I was just like, I don't know. Do you ever have plans on maybe reviving that line and giving us that Taco Mint Racer that everyone really wanted and kind of was clickbaited for almost for the Rowdy Revan HTB racer that people, they liked that. They liked that racer. But if we were going to get him, he would have had to come after the Taco Mint. I mean, the Taco Mint was probably the most anticipated out of all the ones they did. And yet, they gave us one that we really didn't want or ask for, but it's okay still. All right, anyways, here's the answer that the Mattel rep gave. The NASCAR partnership was actually between NASCAR and Disney. That partnership ended last year. However, there are conversations that it might be renewed in the future. All right. Yeah, so I'm a little surprised to hear that it was between NASCAR and Disney. I don't know, maybe you guys tell me something differently. I am surprised about that because, well, for one, Disney and Pixar never really gave any artwork for this line except for the McQueen one, right? That you see on every single packaging. That's kind of stuff Mattel could have done, right? It's kind of like the endurance racers. There wasn't really no artwork or graphics that they used for that, but you do kind of see some of it on the packaging there. That's something that Mattel is fully capable of doing within their own house. So that surprises me that Disney facilitated this and then passed it along to Mattel. But I'll take that. And so, yeah, I guess the contract was just over. It was a 2-year type of deal, and then that ended. And, that was that. Maybe they'll revive it in the future. I still think there had to have been some sort of Walmart intervention in there. I don't know. I mean, I just feel like for it to end up at these discount stores, something had to go wrong. But hey, there's the answer we got. I hope you guys enjoyed this different kind of video, this Mattel Q&A type thing. I also want to put it out there that I submitted that I want my goddamn Thunder Hollow announcer. I didn't get anything back for that yet, but just so you guys know, I got your back. The Thunder Hollow announcer needs to get made. And, if you ask me like point blank, without giving me any time to prepare, what car do you want released? That's just what comes to mind. A car that had a lot of speaking lines that has not been released. Maybe instead of giving us Bill Revs, who didn't speak at all and has appeared, copy and pasted throughout Cars 3 and Cars on the Road, give us a car that actually had a role, albeit small. So there's that, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you to the Mattel rep for these great answers. Thank you to the person who facilitated it. And thanks to the people who asked those first 5 questions. I don't think they're as strong as mine. putting it out there right now, but it is a general consensus of what everyone, what everyone has on their mind right now. So yeah, guys, let me know in the comments what you think about this. Again, the biggest tidbit is that we are getting a Ivy diecast, and soon, because, well, spring starts here. What was today? February 18th. Spring starts in like a month and 3 days, okay? And it goes until June 21st. So, we could get it as soon as March or April. We could get it late as summer. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens in July either, because, things get delayed and whatnot. But hopefully it all happens and it all comes through. And yeah, thanks again. I'll see you guys next time for another video. Ivy needs to be a sexy diecast because we have waited so long for that. Bye now.